Is a shiny chip pin color fake? What's the difference between a matte and a shiny one? Why are most chips matte now? Do the pins of a chip still contain gold? A chip without pins is like a human who has lost their mouth and ears, unable to communicate or receive information from the outside world. This shows how important pins are. Some people have better hearing and vision, but some people are the opposite. Just as the material of the pins on a chip affects its performance, the quality of the pins on a good chip is also superior. The previous chips were high in gold, with gold wires in the pins and inside. The current chips have much less gold in the pins, and even some pins are made of plastic. Of course, the business of collecting chips and refining them still exists, which means that there are some parts that contain gold chips. Just some are more, some are less. A few years ago, there was a way to identify the authentic chip by looking at whether the chip's feet were matte or shiny. The main reason is that most chips today use the tin-plated process, which we commonly refer to as the matte pin. Therefore, many people recognize this matte pin. Some friends might say, are chip with a shiny foot considered outdated? Could they be fake? It's not necessarily so. Both types of pin have their own reasons for existence. The shiny pin's chip does not mean it has been completely phased out, as it has better conductivity and is used in many consumer electronics. However, its corrosion resistance is somewhat inferior, making it more prone to oxidation. Therefore, people later adopted a process called tin plating, which is what we refer to as matte pin. Tin-plated feet are better suited for applications in electronic devices with higher environmental requirements, such as cars and industrial automation. Then why does the lead of our chip look so matte? Mainly due to a mysterious potion. This additive is called tin chloride plating solution. This mysterious potion causes the leads to produce very fine and uniform tin grains during plating, which is the source of this matte effect. In the past, when we sold chip, we said the shinier, the better. The shinier it was, the more authentic it seemed. Nowadays, people are actually afraid of buying such shiny pin. They have a greater belief in these matte pin. In fact, there might be a misunderstanding that it is a less advanced process, but in reality, its manufacturing process is actually more complex and challenging. These matte pin are actually easier to make. Then why do these shiny pins, which look more attractive, gradually lose their appeal? The main reason is that while these pins have a more beautiful and smoother surface, the solder tends to spread easily when welding. High temperatures can affect the quality of the weld, whereas the rough surface of these matte pins helps form a mechanical bond with the solder. In other words, they have better adhesion and are less likely to spread, making them easier to weld. It's precisely because the chip pin is so beautiful and smooth that it has become its own drawback. Will this process be phased out? Not necessarily. With the emergence of new soldering techniques, people may improve the welding performance of tin-plated components, making it very likely that these shiny pins will return to the market.